Welcome to Democracy-ish. I'm Danielle Moody.
And I'm Wajat Ali, and I am now sustaining myself for what will be my future meal of chai and Ozempic, but the Ozempic isn't here, Danielle, so unfortunately I still need food. Let them eat Ozempic, Danielle.
Wow.
Did you have your Ozempic pills that cost now just $150 a pill? Because I'm sure that's what Americans want is not
I mean,
food, not a government, not a job, Ozempic.
not according to the food lines, not according to the judges trying to get this administration to adhere to the rule of law. But here is Donald Trump, and I love this picture freeze frame that I got of him because he looks like such a fucking waste. Like clearly unwell. We'll talk about the fact that he fell asleep during uh Oz's speech, fell asleep at the Resolute desk. This is the same man that had the audacity to talk about Sleepy Joe, that said that Joe Biden wasn't prepared for the job, all of these things. Meanwhile, he's getting secret MRIs. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about you, but when I go to my general practitioner and they say, "Hey, Danielle, it's time for your physical," they never suggest an MRI because that's only suggested when there is something awry. But here's Donald Trump, who is now pushing to cut the price of GLP-1 medications. And he announced this while somebody passed out in his office, which we'll also talk about. And yeah, this is where we are. Your reaction to the Ozempic?
A lot of stuff. Number one, yes, Ozempic is a miraculous drug. I have friends who said, you know what, in addition to even helping people lose weight, it has these benefits for heart health. What people don't realize is the taxpayer has already spent $6 billion helping create Ozempic, folks. That was our money. And Ozempic, which literally we've invested in to help create, should be made much cheaper. It's absurdly expensive because of pharmaceutical companies, right? So it should be number one, even more reduced. But also he's blowing a big hole. Fortune magazine did this piece yesterday by announcing this. He's blowing like another $30 billion hole in Medicaid to lower these costs, and it's still going to be expensive. But you have to look at the priorities, right? So with Ozempic, he's like, "Ooh, Ozempic's popular, great. You know what we'll do instead of feeding people and opening the government and raising wages? Let them have Ozempic. They can just go hungry." My father is on a Ozempic-ish Monjaro. All right, my father needs it, folks, because of diabetes. After my father started taking, he lost like 40, 50 pounds. It literally has helped him like live. But my father says, I asked him like, how does it feel once you take Monjaro Ozempic? He goes, honestly, it just completely suppresses my appetite, and I have to kind of remind myself to eat. Okay, so I say all this, Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
because here they are announcing this, and everyone's like, great, yeah, Ozempic, we should have Ozempic. The government is still shut down.
Mm-hmm.
SNAP has not been funded, even though two judges have ordered him to fund it. There are
Mm-hmm.
huge lines around food banks here in Virginia because we have so many government employees, right? But what they're saying is let them eat Ozempic. They won't have to eat, Danielle. And furthermore, when it comes to this photo and this White House press conference, Danielle, if Joe Biden
Mm.
literally slumped over looking like a freaking bloated dead whale with stroke mouth. There was a stroke mouth yet again as Oz was speaking. And if he sat there like almost like comatose as an individual behind him during a live presser literally collapsed. All right. What would be the headlines? Look at this. Look, this
I
is
mean,
just
I just think that
exquisite.
we're going to go through a couple of these images because this
Look at
is
him.
when the phrase "a picture speaks a thousand words." This is Donald Trump and this administration, this entire regime in a nutshell. People in need behind you, and you're like, take a photo of
Uh,
me. Look at me, right? Doesn't run to help, doesn't look concerned. There is commotion that is happening behind you, right? And yet you're just standing completely still in this photo as if you're some type of mummy. I honestly, it's so striking what this says to the American people, like what this says to the world. So there's that photo.
Well, you know
Then,
what, Danielle? Before you get to
yes.
the other photo, I thought the destruction of the White House was going to be the perfect metaphor for the Trump administration, but this should be in the Louvre. This is like the most on the nose, brilliant one photo metaphor of what Trump and MAGA have done to America. Trump's entire life, his reign of chaos, and as everyone else cleans the mess, he just stands there aloof. It's like that line from Great Gatsby. There were, the rich were
Yep.
careless people. They made messes and then retreated back to their carelessness. Here you go.
I mean, it's wild. And then here is the image that was just oh no, this is even better. So this is even better.
On the nose,
So
Danielle.
so
Another
on the
metaphor.
nose. So I tried to snap the picture so that you could see that as the person. Okay, so on one let's just so on one side, you have Donald Trump standing as this person collapses in his office, right? And then over at the podium where this is happening next to the Resolute desk, as soon as the person collapses, in the corner over there, folks, you see RFK Jr. taking a fucking beeline as if he was the one that offered the person who collapsed some type of drug or whatever that had them pass out. I've never seen people so uncaring and so fucking obvious about it. It's so, the only word that I can say is striking. It is so striking. So you have Donald Trump standing on one side as people are trying to get to this man's aid. And then you have RFK Jr., the fucking health and human services secretary, beelining for like the door.
And folks, Daniel is not at all exaggerating. As this man fell, he could have been having a stroke. He could have had a heart attack. He just dropped. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all those people trying to help him out. RFK saw it and ran. He's like, oh no, the vaccine, it might get me. I mean, look at this man. Who does that, Danielle? I was thinking about this because I know this is going to be forgotten by today. If I saw someone literally fall, like right next to me, he's right next to him. I don't know, Danielle. I'll be like, hey man, you got him? Is
Are
everything
you
okay? Oh, are you okay? Wait, you guys, is anyone a doctor here? Oh wow. RFK literally, folks, and I use the word literally as it's meant to be used, saw it and said, peace, and ran in the opposite direction. Because I truly think Mr. Brainworms thought that, oh no, he probably has autism, or he probably has Tylenol, and I might get it, it might affect me. Because he's an idiot, he's a clown, he's a crank. And also shows you the callous disregard that these people have for fellow Americans, right? Another on the nose photo that we used recently, just a couple of days ago, Great Gatsby party. As our food
Yep.
lines, as the government is shut down, as folks, we're going to get to the numbers, the economy, we're in a recession. Let's just keep it real. No one wants to say it. Well, some analysts are saying, but like, what else is there? And God forbid, it's looking worse than a recession. I hope I'm wrong. But
You're not wrong. Like,
as
you're
it's
not
getting
wrong.
there, they're throwing a Great Gatsby Roaring Twenties party, a type of callous disregard because they just don't care, right? They don't even register how terrible it looks because that's how little they care. Then there's Donald Trump demolishing the East Wing. Then the gaudy golden friggin' gross 80s Oval Office, font on the side of the White House. I'm sure you've seen. Then there's Donald Trump just like shitting in his pants as the country behind him is burning down. The guy's fallen. And then there's RFK, as Danielle said, the director of our Health and Human Services, who runs away as a man passes out. I mean, this is the universe literally giving us gifts.
But I mean, and before okay. Folks, this is a picture as fucking Dr. Oz is speaking. And I don't know if this is before the man passes out, after the man passes out. I don't know. But you know who is passed out during the time that Dr. Oz is speaking? Donald fucking Trump. Like, if this does not look like, and I have to play it. Let me see if I can get it, because sometimes these videos just don't want to play. But like, you have to see this.
And also the close-up. If you saw a close-up, he still has a stroke mouth.
But today oh, you okay? Recording you okay?
So here is the collapsing. Everyone is concerned.
Press out. Press. We're going. Thank you, press. Cameras, we're done rolling. Cameras.
So that's the collapsing video. Donald Trump not looking to help. I'm trying to find the one where Dr. Oz is speaking, and now I can't find it. I can't find it. Oh no, here it is.
People can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed. Folks who
People
whose
can
knees don't
sleep
hurt,
again.
People don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know are associated with obesity and much more. This
I got to run it back. Do you see Donald Trump? Do you see him?
people can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed. Folks
People
whose
can
knees
sleep.
don't hurt. People don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know are
Why?
Dementia.
You don't get better than that. Like
Danielle
you
just got $10 for your lavender oat milk latte.
Thank you.
And Danielle's birthday is on November 10th, folks. We will
Monday.
celebrate on Monday. Danielle could be anywhere from 25 to 65. You don't know because black don't crack.
You don't know. You don't know.
Danielle's like, my 21st birthday. Like, that makes sense.
That
Danielle's
makes
like, I'm
sense.
77. Like, okay.
Okay. I just, you look at these things, and again, all of this around the White House yesterday was all about Ozempic. It was all about Donald Trump taking a nap on national television. But here is, again, this is last year that RFK Jr. is talking about how Ozempic is illegal in Europe and that the impact of the drug is just terrible. As you sell your soul in a calendar year to stand in the Oval Office while the manufacturers of Ozempic and Donald Trump are talking about lowering the prices so that people don't have food, but that at least they have this food, this suppressive medicine. RFK Jr. said it paralyzes the stomach, stops you from producing serotonin. It causes suicidal ideations. It causes gastrointestinal issues, eats muscles and doesn't grow back. You regain the weight when it stopped. Like, all of these things that he said in this interview, but he stood in the Oval Office yesterday as the announcement was being made about Ozempic. Folks, like, I miss a time when at least our elected officials pretended to have integrity. Yeah. Don't you? Like, pretended to actually stand on conviction. And these people have none. Like RFK Jr. is like, oh, I'm all about health and I'm all about this, that, and the, and the other thing. Donald Trump, what is he about? Because I got to show you the next thing. What did he say in the Oval Office to the folks, the manufacturers of Ozempic?
Maybe you should give us
a piece of the cup. Go ahead, do it in your voice.
Maybe you should give us a piece of the company like I've been asking for. And the funny thing is Novo Nordisk is not an American company. Novo Nordisk is a Danish company. And speaking about Denmark, folks, remember he's already threatened Denmark, with taking
invading
over Greenland.
Them, no?
Huh? So
invading them.
Yeah, invading them. So imagine how this is going to go over in Europe, that if we come and to the United States of America, to the White House, that the president of the United States of America will openly say, maybe you should give us a piece of the company. Maybe you should give it to me. I want it. And speaking about them ranting and raving about socialist, communist, Zoran Mamdani. Oh, here he is openly just trying to be communist and do the public takeover of a private company. He is an idiot. He is failing, folks. He also has, when I say stroke mouth, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people who have had stroke. Like, literally, if you see increasingly, remember Danielle, there was that week where everyone was like, where's Donald Trump? And we still don't have an answer. Remember that? Like, literally, we don't know where he went. There was nothing on the schedule, and they took these weird photos from far away that he was allegedly playing golf, and then some photos from like 2 years ago, right? We still don't know what happened. Number one. Number two, like Daniel said, he's had an MRI. We don't know why. Number three, he already had his annual checkup at Walter Reed, and then
And
he
then
went
had another
again.
one.
He had went another one, and we've seen now multiple photos that when he just falls asleep, his lower mouth right here kind of droops down. That's a sign of people who've had strokes before. But we're supposed to believe that this is the healthiest, strongest man ever, who has like bones that are made of metal, and can ride like Pegasus and you know, fly to Valhalla, and be greeted by Valkyries, right? Like, yo, like this guy's slumped over, drooling with his mouth
With
like
cameras I like, again, folks, I just, because I think it's so important to emphasize this. This is not like a random photog catching Donald Trump like at Mar-a-Lago, like sitting. This is a staged press conference that he could barely keep his eye. He did not keep his
nope,
eyes open for.
nope,
This was
nope.
a staged press conference. This is not like, oh, I'm just here, for a casual event and I'm going to rest my eyes for 2 seconds because no one is looking at me. You're sitting at the Resolute desk and Donald Trump could not keep his eyes open, right? He is
This is not the first
slumped
time, Danielle.
over, and
Every
it's not the
single
first
time.
time.
Every single time. Every single time, if you notice on this show, we always try to bring you receipts and we always bring you photos. Notice that he just cannot keep his eyes open. If you go longer than about 30 minutes, he knocks out. It's been happening throughout his presidency.
Yep.
He was the only elected official, only state dignitary who slept during the funeral of Pope Francis. When he's met officials in the White House, falls asleep. About 2-3 weeks ago, when they were talking about national security briefing and Pam Bondi threatened pretty much violence against anti-fascists and the leftists, what we do to the Venezuelans, they're killing them extrajudicially without any due process. Just for those who know, we've killed so many now. She said, we're going to do that to Americans. He was knocked out. Danielle,
Yep.
next to her, he
Yep.
was knocked out. 9/11, remember the 9/11 memorial? Knocked out with the mini stroke face. So I'm sitting here and I remember, Daniel, just a year ago, Jake Tapper and all these other people, Joe Biden has had a stroke. Joe Biden has dementia. Joe Biden is dead. Joe Biden's health. Joe Biden's health. Oldest man, old man, old man. Fair enough. Okay. Now you have Donald Trump, who is the oldest person to be elected, 79 years old, who survived an assassination attempt, whose family has a history of dementia. He has a big blotch on his palm. We still don't know why. He has cankles. They had to admit it. And who's openly falling asleep in every single major conference or cabinet hearing that goes longer than 30 minutes. Where are the headlines?
There are none. There are none. Because apparently what was fine for Joe Biden is hands off for Donald Trump. And I'm telling you that if Joe Biden had exhibited any one of these issues.
Wait, let's go back. I want to show you one. Why this?
Falling asleep.
Imagine that's Joe Biden.
Imagine that is Joe Biden. The press would have just stopped running every other type of news for at least a month, and it would have been dissected from every fucking angle. The fact that this is happening and everyone is just like, eyes are closed, ears are clogged, like can't see anything, can't say anything, is astounding to me. It is astounding. And so, I mean, it is super clear, folks, that Donald Trump is wildly unwell. As you have this doctor, who I will never forgive fucking Oprah for giving us Dr. fucking Oz, Dr. Phil, fucking Marianne Williams, like all of these cranks. Everybody that is a crank that Oprah introduced the world to, they are all fucking nut jobs. I don't know if that's a coincidence or what, but nonetheless, in the meantime, while all of this is happening, food lines, SNAP benefits not being paid out, the jobs report, which we'll get into. This fucking happens.
Yep.
I have never, Waj, like wanted to physically just vomit off of a headline than I did with this one. You have got to be fucking kidding me.
Yep. The world's first trillionaire, and 75% of the shareholders said, hey, if you can get us more money and meet those targets, we have a majority of us have said, sure, Elon, we'll make you the first trillionaire. Just make sure that you improve these Tesla stocks that we've invested in. It's okay that you've taken over Twitter and replaced human beings with bots and Nazis. It's okay that you helped Donald Trump get elected. People forget, I don't, and gave nearly $300 million. It's okay that you and your Doge incels now have access to all of our private information. People have forgotten about Doge. I haven't. It's okay that if you have used your immense wealth and platform now, Twitter, to go help far-right parties, neo-Nazi parties, and far-right movements. It's okay that you have spread disinformation and lies and conspiracy theories. Just make us more money, and we'll make you, Elon Musk, the world's first trillionaire. What more do you need to see when we talk about the oligarchy, and when we talk about supervillains, when we talk about America's enduring sin being capitalism? And people might say, I don't know, Danielle and Waj, that's a bit hyperbolic. I give you this.
I mean, it's so fucking sick. One person, first of all, I have now moved into the place where billionaires shouldn't fucking exist. They really should not. Because if we are having a proper redistribution of wealth, if people are being taxed properly, if you are giving back into the community and society in the ways that you should, billionaires would not exist, let alone a fucking trillionaire. It is grotesque. It is fucking obscene. There are people that are starving. There are people that are dying. And this man is just fucking burning money and doing nothing of fucking value. Right? You look at the philanthropist. What is her name? Bezos, Mackenzie. You look at Mackenzie, who is saying, my goal is to give this all away. Because no one person should have this much, while there are so many that are wanting, so many institutions, so many universities, so many kids in America, 1 in fucking 5 are on Snap. 1 in 8 adults are on Snap. And this motherfucker, who is a thief and a grifter, has not invented anything. He is a parasite, is now being awarded for even worse behavior. And these people can't pretend that, like, he's not a misogynist, transphobic, racist piece of shit. I just, some days, I know for folks who are religious, they're like, oh, he'll get his just due on the other side and blah, blah. But it's things like this. Waj, where I really have to say, like, my God, where is God? Where is Allah? Where is the universe that continues to reward sick, fucking twisted people like this? I don't know. It's shit like this that makes me lose faith. That is my rant.
My response to that would be, there was also the Pharaoh, and there was also Moses. And every age has had its Pharaoh. I don't know if every age has had its Moses. And Pharaoh, like Elon Musk, Pharaoh, like Larry Ellison and David Ellison, also believed he should live forever, that everything was owed to him, that he was a god amongst men. And Pharaoh, despite all the power and all the wealth, at the end of the day, drowned. Pharaoh did not live forever. And Pharaoh is forgotten, and the Pharaoh is a testament to human greed and vanity. Every age has had a Pharaoh. This is the Muslim in me, and this is also the human being in me, making sense of the grave injustice as to why the best people die young and the worst people seem to live forever and get everything in this dunya, the world. And what I've also seen as a student of history is, anytime, Danielle, there is such immense rank income inequality, regardless of region, ethnicity, religion, you know what happens, folks? People rebel. Violence happens. It happens for thousands of years. Anytime there is such an egregious disparity in wealth between the haves and the have-nots, and the rich are oppressive, eventually, Danielle, it breaks. Now, I'm not saying that things will get better. Obviously it's going to get worse. But with everything that we've said so far, the Great Gatsby party, while people are lined up to get food, SNAP benefits that we have the money for, but they choose not to fund. As they choose not to fund SNAP, he gives $40 billion to Milei in Argentina, who uses it to win election again. Christy Nome says, I don't care. I have power. I'm going to get a $172 million private jet so I can fly around with Corey Lewandowski. Kash Patel, we talked about the story. More and more is coming out that allegedly it wasn't a one-off. Kash Patel has apparently repeatedly used a $60 million private jet and used taxpayer money to fly to his honeypot girlfriend, right? All of this is happening. And now we're going to have the first trillionaire. And Donald Trump is telling us, let them eat Ozempic. Danielle, you're saying no billionaires. I can't quote my dad. I was in the Bay Area a couple of days ago, like I told you all. My dad, came to this country in 1966. Like many immigrants, Asian immigrants, you come in, like many Asian immigrants, they came in and they first voted Republican, not because they really cared, but like, oh, pro-God, pro-family, pro-business. Okay. And then the 90s, late 90s, they switched once they realized like it was all a fraud, right? That dad of mine, if you heard his rant against billionaires, I literally told my dad, please never say this publicly. He's like, I don't care. He goes, it's okay. It's okay. Don't say this publicly. Danielle, he is done. You should have heard what he wants the universe to be done to billionaires and the oligarchy. You would have agreed with him.
I would have agreed with him.
I said, Danielle and Dad, please don't speak publicly.
Please don't speak publicly. But look at this. 50% of workers can't afford health care. People are using buy now, pay later apps to go into debt to buy groceries. GoFundMe, according to Melanie Dorigo, has 250,000 pages for medical bills and 40,000 for tuition payments. And Elon Musk gets $1 trillion payout, and people think moms getting SNAP are the fucking problem.
Yep.
And then you have, I just, because I want to show people this.
Yeah, please go for it. Go for it.
This is, initially on election night, I thought, oh God, this is amazing. And election night was amazing, right? A lot of great things happen. But we live in a country where we have to pass legislation to feed children.
Yep.
That it is not a fucking given. So Colorado voters approved a ballot measure that would raise state income taxes on higher earning households to fund free meals for all public students, which is something that I have wanted and have been calling for across the country, that we should not have a stigma on free and reduced lunch, that all children should be able to go to their school and get breakfast, the lunch, a snack, and be on their way, and it be free. We have enough money, right? And the fact that you have to pass legislation, right, that this had to be a fight to get done is just sickening. Yep. And we take this shit in America and we say that it is normal. And we say that, oh, this is the way things are. Oh, change is hard, right? And I'm telling you that countries around the world look at us and think, wow, this place is fucking backwards.
Yep.
I did a segment yesterday, Waj, on the Danielle Moody Show, where The Guardian had put up this whole rundown of what Zoran Mamdani is calling for. He's calling for free childcare, calling for free buses, calling for all of these things. And The Guardian went through all of the countries around the world that have had those things for decades. And they're like, what Americans call socialism, Europeans call Tuesday, because they expect their government to work on their behalf with their tax dollars. And we have been indoctrinated into believing that the status quo of doing fucking nothing is the way that politics goes.
I mean, it's remarkable. I was thinking about this last night, Danielle. I mean, right before, putting the slide and the outlines, I was like, isn't it amazing? The great grift, the great con, how they have convinced Americans that we don't deserve nice things. How they have convinced Americans that we don't deserve a living wage. How they've convinced Americans that we don't deserve paid family leave, which is the norm in every single industrialized country. How they have convinced Americans that we should work harder than our Japanese and European colleagues, leave more vacation days on the table, and still have the flat minimum wage, to work ourselves to death, to
Yep.
literally have a reduced life expectancy. We've lost
Mhm.
3 years. And if, God forbid, our taxpayer dollars and our government that we fund then turns around, and instead of giving billions of dollars for wars, or to Israel, or to Argentina, or for private jets, or for a ballroom, instead says, you know what? You're an American. Your kid deserves to eat for free at school. You know what? Here's a healthcare infrastructure with state-of-the-art hospitals and state-of-the-art researchers to help improve and lengthen your lives. You know what? Here's fantastic roads and planes. And what we say in America is, I'm not gonna help your kid get a free lunch. Not on my dime. Hey, why is your kid getting student loan relief? I didn't get student loan relief. And they pit us against each other, and that's
Yep.
white supremacy and greed.
Yep.
And what Rupert Murdoch and Ellison and Elon Musk say, and they're saying it right now, hey, whites, look at that black. Look at that black Haitian. You can't have nice things because of that Haitian. Look at that Muslim hijabi. Look at this immigration. Look what they're saying the last couple of days, ever since Zoran won. Openly and nakedly, they're saying New York has become infested. It's because of these refugees and these immigrants that we can't have nice things. And what did Zoran say? Hey, man, we live in one of the greatest cities on earth, in the greatest country on earth, allegedly. What about free buses? And people are like, wait a second. Free bus. It's like, Danielle, imagine if you're living in a country where people are like, it's like Idiocracy. How do we make the grass grow? We got to put Gatorade on the grass. And then someone comes and you say, actually, why don't we just try water? And someone goes, yeah,
Yeah.
water.
Huh.
Water on grass. And why don't you drink water? Hey, drinking water. Yeah. And so I think Mandani, if I may, real quick, the reason why he's so threatening is it's like the Matrix, right? Like red pill, blue pill. He is allowing you to imagine an America where we don't have to live like this.
Yep.
And enough people stopped and they're like, wait a second. He's right. Billionaires are getting more money and I can't afford my rent. Why is that, Daniel? Hey, free buses and my kid getting a free lunch? Yeah, Daniel, that sounds good. Why not me? In Europe, do they have what? Do they have free, high quality colleges in Norway? What? Hey, where did they get that magical money?
Every new family gets a baby basket in Finland. That's been happening since 1949,
Do they
right?
have
Like,
unicorns? Do they have leprechauns?
it's
Oh, they don't? It's
but
just
here
government tax money?
here
Oh.
here is the lie that America has sold, that we have gobbled up and regurgitated over and over again. Rugged individualism.
Mm.
Right? Do it on your own. We don't need the government's help. We need smaller government, because you should have to pay for the things on top of paying your exorbitant taxes. You should also then have to pay for healthcare, have to pay for family leave, have to pay for all of these things, because you're an individual. You're not one of those hand me with their hands out. You can do it alone. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Chet. You do it alone. That's what they have sold us over and over again. And I look around and I say, what the fuck am I paying these taxes for? What is it doing for me? And then you go to these other countries and you're just like, oh man, Japan is living in the future. No, Japan is living in fucking reality. They're living in 2025 like the rest of us. They just have a government and a people that actually give a shit about each other and demand more than the bare fucking minimum. And by the way, I blame Republicans and I blame Democrats. Democrats are so fine saying, well, sir, can we please have some more? Okay, great. And then they break off half and then give the crumbs to the people. And they say, look, we're fighting for you. It is a game. It is a game. And none of us are the ones that have any of the chips. None of us. We are just the pawns. And more people need to wake up to that and look around at these other nations that are supposedly less than, that give their people more and more and more, while we settle for the bare fucking minimum.
And the funny thing is Danielle, we pull ourselves from the bootstraps and we lift ourselves up and we have the Puritan work ethic, and we don't realize they're marching us to our grave. And then we die. And life expectancy, I've said it before on the show, I'll say it again. For
3
other
years.
countries, as life expectancy has gone up, we've lost about 3 years, and we're going to lose some more, folks. It's a giant grift. And the last thing I'll say before, and look at the numbers. Now we're going to talk about where we are right now, folks. The indicators are everywhere. But Democrats also, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Be happy with crumbs. No, no, no. Don't say abolish ICE. Let them terrorize your community. No, no, no. Don't fight for a living wage. Remember that guy 6 years ago? That was seen as too extreme, fighting for a living wage, fighting for the 15, right? Too extreme. No, no, no. Don't talk about marriage equality. We can't dream. Oh, no, no. Don't talk about paid family leave. That's too much. No, no, no. Don't talk about taxing the billionaires. Some billionaires are good. They're our friends. We need billionaires. No, no, no. Don't talk about reforming and punishing the big banks that gave us a subprime mortgage. These banks are too big to fail, even though they failed the American economy, right?
Yep.
So I think we got to push against these Democrats. They shut the F up. You find miraculous ways to get money to friggin' start wars and bomb people. Use that same creative exercise to help the American people. Oh, you can't get the F out. And I think this is where we are.
And stop telling us to start to that our dreams are too big, that it's unrealistic. Everything is unrealistic when you're a greedy ass, insatiable billionaire. Everything is unrealistic. Oh, Mom Donnie's never going to be able to deliver. Why? Because billionaires are spending $22 million to ensure that he doesn't. Folks, like, everybody need to wake the fuck up and realize you've been getting played since the beginning of time. And more people need to understand that and reckon with that, because here's where we are. Here is where we are. Let's run through the economy right now, shall we?
Please.
Layoffs in October were the highest since 2003. Waj, can you talk to us and tell us what was happening at the turn of the new millennium?
In 2000, oh yes, in 2000 and 2001, there was the 9/11 terror attacks done by 19 foreign hijackers, not me, not Mehdi Hassan, not Zoran Mamdani, not Muslim students in New York, and then the Republicans, led by war criminal Dick Cheney, so glad he's dead. Yes, I said it. And Project for a New American Century said, you know what? The world will welcome us with garlands and flowers. Democracy will bloom in the Middle East if we force it down their throats. And then we bombed Afghanistan, and we bombed Iraq, and we destroyed generations. And then we also did drone strikes in Somalia and Yemen. And then, of course, you had the mini MAGA in the form of the Trump administration, with their greed, continuing their attack on labor, privatizing everything. And then, of course, we had the financial industries engage in the subprime scandal, right? And then all of a sudden, this continued for about 6-7 years. There was also the Hurricane Katrina disaster. And then, Danielle, that subprime bubble burst. It burst. And as it burst, you know what happened? It just crashed everything along with it. It was like dominoes. People started losing their homes. Bear Stearns went out of business. Entire economies were wiped out. I had graduated from law school in 2007. One of the first industries that was also affected was lawyers and law firms. Everything got affected because we're all connected, and it was the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, right? So while that's all happening, and you saw the precursor to it, voila, fast forward 22 years, and Danielle, highest layoffs in October since 2003.
Yeah. So they may not want to utter the word recession, but I'm going to utter the D word, which is depression. And that is exactly where the fucking American economy is headed. Folks, the numbers really, really, really fucking bad. And so let us play what some folks are saying, because it doesn't get much worse. And everybody's trying not to be alarmist, but if I'm you, I'm saying ring the alarm.
The job
Absolutely.
market. Steve Leisman joins us with the latest numbers from Challenger on job cuts. What's going on?
Yeah, well, this is like a clue from like a cough or a sneeze or whatever. But announced corporate job cuts, Andrew, in the U.S. surging past 1 million so far this year, with 153,000 new layoffs announced just in October, according to Challenger. That is the worst October since 2003. Here are the numbers. October up 153. That compares with September. That's 100,000 more than September and 100,000 more than this time last year in October 2024. Andy Challenger commenting, some industries are correcting after the hiring boom of the pandemic, but this comes as AI adoption, softening consumer and corporate spending, and rising costs drive belt tightening and hiring freezes. Announced layoffs don't always lead to actual cuts and could take place from attrition. But the report puts in perspective what we've been reporting here day after day, week after week. Series of marquee announcements unveiled in recent weeks across U.S. industries, including UPS, Amazon, Target, among others, Paramount, Rivian, all these companies there. Government has been responsible year to date for 308,000. But look at that, tech 141. That could be where you see a lot of the AI, maybe some in warehousing, but a big chunk of that's going to be UPS, as well as potentially some hit from reduced flows of trade. Retail's up there, as is services at 64,000. You take out the Doge cuts, the number's a bit better at 800,000, but still well above last year. Challenger doesn't see much in the way of hiring, saying announced plans are 35% below last year, and they're skeptical about the number of new hires for the holiday season.
So, just to recap here, there are more jobless people than there are jobs. We're getting this report from Challenger instead of the United States government because, one, the government still remains shut down. We are now in the longest shutdown that this country has ever seen. The other longest shutdown was in 2018 under Donald Trump. There are more people that need jobs than there are jobs. There are no jobs coming from the private sector. Donald Trump, Doge, and Elon Musk are the ones that have caused this joblessness, where most of them still are in the public sector, with 300,000 plus Black women that have been pushed out of the workforce, pushed out of stability, creating an even larger racial wealth gap than what was already present, right? And all of this is getting worse. And they want to blame AI for this, but this is fucking corporate greed. This is what this is. The CEOs are still making $20, $30 million a year. The shareholders are still getting their share, right? But what they're doing is minimizing the amount of workers, creating this desperate situation so that they get to then say to you, well, I'll hire you here, but I'm not giving you health care. I'm not giving you a 401k. I'm going to give you minimum benefits because guess what? People are desperate. And when you create the conditions for desperation, well, then you can do whatever you want when you're on the top 1%.
Look at this. Home sellers now outnumber buyers by over 500,000, the largest gap ever recorded. People are defaulting on their car payment loans as well. Folks, credit card debt reaches an all-time high of $1.23 trillion. We'll get to that in a second. So in addition to that, you have the government shutdown. You have hundreds of thousands of government employees who do not have a paycheck. A couple of days ago, it came out that Donald Trump and Russell Vought, and this is part and parcel of Project 2025, Russell Vought, who's the shadow president, openly said he wants government employees to experience what? Trauma, his words. Even though they have the money, now they're saying, nah, we won't give you back pay. We'll just
Which
give
is illegal, by the
Yeah,
way,
but they don't
because
care.
it's breaking the law.
Yeah, but they don't care. $40 billion to Miele, $172 million jet for Kristi Noem, Great Gatsby party. No food for you. No Ozempic for you, government employees. People are defaulting on credit card payments, defaulting on car loans, not buying homes. Price of groceries are up. Price of meat is at a record high. The economy is only really moving because of spending by the top 10%. So the top 10% are spending. And as Danielle said, the 90% tightening up their belts. Okay. You saw some of the numbers of the job market. We saw Amazon and UPS last week, right? Openly, just casually, just saying, whatever, right before the holiday season, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Howard Lutnick, who's the Secretary of Commerce, a billionaire, who also gave money to Donald Trump for his ballroom. Remember that on TV a couple of months ago? He said, well, we're going to replace them with AI anyway. They don't care about any of you. They are drinking up all of our milkshake. And they now have utter callous disregard. Danielle, this was always part and parcel of the Oligarchies plan, the Republican plan, Project 2025. They're not going to stop. And then furthermore, folks, just wait for it. Next year, what's happening, Danielle? Permanent tax cuts for billionaires. Billionaires won't pay their taxes. It will increase costs by what? $2,000 for everyone else who doesn't have the money. And they're going to pay for these permanent tax cuts by gutting Medicaid. So in addition to all of you struggling to pay your bills, as this government shutdown increases, most likely healthcare premiums will double in about 2 months. And then Medicaid's going to get cut, and you're going to lose hospitals, doctors, and nursing homes. What do you think is going to... Danielle, I'm telling you, man, I'm afraid. I don't say this lightly. This is a country of over 400 million guns. I've been saying it for a while. I'll say it again. Luigi Mangione was radicalized due to healthcare. You all think it's the libs and this and that. Oh, no. Trump's own base has a lot of guns. And when Mammy and Daddy and Uncle Chet die because their local hospital shut down, because they can't afford healthcare, because they're desperate and there's no jobs, what do you think is going to happen? And people say, watch, don't talk like that. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I'm looking at the evidence of my eyes. I'm looking at human nature. Danielle.
I mean, look, everything is set up for 1, this country to spiral into a Great Depression. For 2, for there to be massive violence, right? And 3, for Donald Trump to then, because you've provoked the violence by creating the conditions for despair and chaos, that now your for-profit prisons that you have built all over the place will turn around and be filled with what? Not undocumented people, not criminals, but those that are desperate, right? And then you'll have the ability to invoke the Insurrection Act and then do the final stage of their Project 2025 takeover, which is full-on militarization. And why? Just why are all of these things happening right now? What is it that they could possibly be trying to distract us from? And here is the truth of the matter. 1, yes, they absolutely are insatiable and cruel and violent and greedy. And they are also protecting a party of pedophiles. Because the Department of Justice, according to Yahoo News and others, has admitted to Republicans that the Epstein files, friends, are even worse for Trump. They're worse than what many have said. And here is what is written. A few conservative representatives with ties to the FBI and the Justice Department have spilled that the true details of the Epstein files are worse for Trump than previously reported, according to journalist David Schuster. Michael Wolff, a longtime chronicler of Trump's White House, who conducted extensive interviews with Epstein prior to his death, told the Daily Beast last month that Epstein had shown him photos of Trump with half-naked young girls, and by young girls means children. These rumors have galvanized into a legitimate movement among Republicans who are now, Schuster wrote on X on Wednesday night, clamoring for files' full release. For months, just 4 Republicans had penned their signatures on a discharge petition demanding transparency into the investigation of the pedophilic sex trafficker and his potential associates. Those conservative lawmakers include Massey, Green, Mace, and Boebert. Representative-elect, who is yet to be sworn in, she was elected over a month ago.
Yeah, 5 weeks.
Who won her special election in Arizona in September, has vowed to sign and be the 218th signature. This is, again, why she is not being sworn in and why the government is actually out. And by out, we mean, they're finishing off the coup. So there is panic, according to Occupy Democrats Watch, all like absolute obscene panic about the fact that this is not rumors, that there is concrete evidence, there are pictures, there are videos. Donald Trump is a fucking pedophile. This is a party of pedophiles, and they're not able to continue to contain this. I'll turn it over to you.
This is the biggest cover-up we've seen in modern history. We know from the Wall Street Journal that Donald Trump was informed by Pam Bondi back in May that he's all up in the Epstein files, and he's lied to the American public. So has Kash Patel, so has Dan Bongino, so has Pam Bondi. Remember, she had the files and she was going to release them, and all of a sudden, mouse farts. And then we got from the Wall Street Journal that there's a notebook, a photo book that Ghislaine Maxwell compiled for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, and Donald Trump wrote and drew something obscene, and he said, "You're lying. I'm going to sue you." And then Wall Street Journal said, "All right, go ahead and sue us." Nah. And they stood by the reporting. And then what happened? Like a month later, oh, you got actually images from that book, and you got that disgusting drawing that Donald Trump did, right? And then you heard that the FBI, there was a specific unit who was tasked with scrubbing Donald Trump's names that appeared in thousands of times, right? And then you found out that Ghislaine Maxwell, in less than a week after meeting Donald Trump's personal attorney, Todd Blanche, who's in the Attorney General office, she all of a sudden gets moved to Club Fed, a minimum security camp where the other inmates are pissed off because she gets special treatment. And we still don't know who authorized the Bureau of Prisons to literally change and alter their entire system that does not allow a convicted child molester, a convicted predator to even get that type of transfer. But much like Jeffrey Epstein, she got this once in a lifetime sweetheart deal, Danielle, right? Should be bigger news. And then we also found out that she's been meeting high profile unidentified individuals. Who are those people that are coming? And then we found out that Donald Trump, when asked, "Are you willing to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?" goes, I haven't heard that name in a while. Huh? What? Well, I guess I could if I guess I could, right? Who would stop me? And then Michael Wolff told me the same thing, Danielle, that in addition to that photo, he said there's another photo that Jeffrey Epstein showed him where young girls were all pointing to a wet spot on Donald Trump's.
I cannot.
And there's apparently worse. And then Eric Swalwell alleges that a Republican colleague says it's just a matter of time. And if America sees those Epstein files, the entire house of cards will fall down in the GOP. And then finally, I'll tell you, folks, we've been on the Adelita Grijalva thing for a while. It's been 5 weeks. And the reason Mike Johnson hasn't sworn her in is she will give the 218th vote for the House to release the Epstein files. And my fear, Danielle, is you have two angles here. You have the Russell Vought angle where they want to crush the government, which is why we hear murmurs in DMV that they're open, some faction of the Republican Party is open to shutting the government down till the new year. Then there's another murmur that the reason they don't want to open it is they don't even want to risk the vote. So it's better to keep it shut down. And then another murmur we've heard is because of the shellacking they got, now there's a type of internal divide, which is awesome. There's a MAGA civil war happening, folks, which is saying, whoa, guys. Okay, we have to reopen the government because we're worried about the midterms. So the civil war is brewing, and it's all because of their fidelity to this friggin' rapist con man who is friends with a pedophile.
Just remember that the white evangelical Christian said that he's an imperfect tool of God. Okay.
With wet spots on his crotch surrounded by young girls.
Why? Why did you have to do that again?
Just so people know that this is the man. This is the man people elected. This is their hero. This is their savior. This friggin' Bulgarian rapist.
So Waj talked about civil war. Oh, yeah, it is actually a real thing. Nick Fuentes told listeners in September he welcomed a GOP civil war. We want disruption. We want chaos. We want infighting. It seems he's hit the mark. Inside the shit show at the Heritage and the reckoning on the right after the Fuentes-Carlson interview. Remind folks what happened with that interview and why there was this interview when this coming together of Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes?
It's a very big deal, folks. About 2 weeks ago, Tucker Carlson invited Nick Fuentes on his show, where it was a very friendly softball interview. Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson kind of went back and forth at each other online. And Tucker Carlson, much like Marjorie Taylor Greene, sees where the wind is blowing when it comes to the economy, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to neo-Nazis, when it comes to the present and future of the GOP. And they had a rapprochement, if you will, kind of a meeting of the minds, an alliance. Then there was pressure. Kevin Roberts, you're the head of Heritage Foundation, that main conservative think tank that published a Project 2025. Make a stand, if you will, get rid of Tucker Carlson, condemn him. And then Kevin Roberts, on his own, no one asked him to do this, did a 4-minute video openly doing what, Danielle? Saying, nah, I'm good with Tucker. And then saying, Nick Fuentes, I don't agree with his ideas, but we should debate it. That caused, for the past year and a half, a huge rift between, if you will, the pro-Israel MAGA donors and a lot of the old guard versus the new guard, which I believe are the present and future of the MAGA movement. And so now you see Ben Shapiro, Laura Loomer, Barry Weiss against Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nick Fuentes. And folks, if you're online and if you follow the MAGA movement like I do, don't do it, by the way, live your life. It seems that the Fuentes and the Grapers are winning. I hope I was able to explain it to those who don't know.
I mean, that's where we are. And so one major donor who contributes more than $500,000 annually to Heritage told CNN that they lost faith in Roberts' leadership. I'm waiting to see how things play out, but if Kevin remains as president, we will not be giving to Heritage, which is funny to me that they have an issue with this self-avowed white nationalists, but Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, JD Vance, they're completely fine with. So it's like you have to be a particular type of white nationalist, right? The suited and booted type of white nationalist, but not the like podcaster incel type of white nationalist.
Can I
Gotta
just
be
be
the one
blunt?
that they can bring to dinner parties.
Leopards eat faces. What'd you think was going to happen, Jews for MAGA? What you think was going to happen, Ben Shapiro? What you think was going to happen, Barry Weiss? What you think was going to happen, Mark Levine? What you think was going to happen, Indian for MAGA? What you think was going to happen, Dinesh D'Souza? What you think was going to happen, POC for MAGA? We told you. We warned you. You voted for the face-eating leopard because you thought that leopard would eat my face and Danielle's face. Oh, no. It seems that the face-eating leopard likes to eat all faces.
Delicious. And then they take Ozempic. And because we are running short on time, I'm jumping right ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
So following the Democratic shellacking on Tuesday, there were 13 elections, I believe, across the country. Democrats won all 13 of them. There were big elections. There were governorships and Supreme and state Supreme Court seats and mayoral races. Democrats won every single one of them. And so Steve Bannon says all of the quiet parts out loud after this win, and it is fucking exquisite to hear him say all of the things that we know. And I'm like, and if again Democrats don't turn this into an ad, I don't understand what you're doing. So listen.
Tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills. Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast. Even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys that liked, and some of these institutions, I understand this is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it, and I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, the limited government constitutionalist in our movement.
I won't bore you with the rest of his strategy to codify, meaning destroy democracy so that people can't vote, you can't choose your representatives, and they get to stuff their agenda down your throat. But the most important piece of that diatribe was his opening salve, which was the admission that if Democrats get back in power, which I want certain Democrats to get back in power, but the establishment, as far as I'm concerned, can take 7,000 seats and a whole cup of shut the fuck up. But for those that are actually interested in prosecuting criminals and ensuring that they go to jail and creating the necessary policy structures and infrastructure so that a Donald Trump and someone like him can never happen again, Steve Bannon is right. But the only way that I would ever be concerned about going to jail is if I was a fucking criminal and I knew that everything that I was doing could in fact come back to bite me in the ass in the way that Steve Bannon runs through his entire life. Because you see me right now, I'm not thinking to myself, ooh, I'm very nervous about potentially going to jail next month. Why would I think that?
I really hope they don't dig up my front lawn and investigate that foul smell of human flesh. I really hope people don't do that. I really, really hope they don't do that. They know they're frauds. They know they're criminals. They know their time is coming up. TikTok. There's a reason why Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller are now living on army bases. And there's a reason why, folks, this ballroom that cost $300 million is not just a ballroom, is also a bunker. And the final thing I'll say, because I know we're running out of time and I want to end on a really positive note, is, folks, they know. They know that we know that they're guilty as F. And this is why, when it comes to the Democrats, I'm not interested in vote blue no matter who. I need a Democrat who will run on accountability, who promises me accountability. If you give me another Merrick Garland, there will be a revolution. I guarantee people will not sit there and stand back. It was a huge failure of the Democrats. Let's be honest, Danielle. Merrick Garland, what did he do? Nothing. If you give me a centrist institutionalist who cares more about protecting the institutions than actually holding these mother effers accountable, then you know what? Peace out. We're done with restoration. We need reformation. And a really good piece of news to end on was the sandwich guy. The sandwich guy who threw his meat sandwich at ICE agents. Jeanine Pirro tried to make an example out of him. Oh, a violent insurrection is perfectly fine, but a middle-aged dude throwing a sandwich, he must be made an example out of. And the best part was Sean Dunn, the sandwich guy. There's a mural made of where he threw the sandwich in D.C. It's awesome. Was found not guilty of assaulting a federal agent. Awesome. It happened yesterday. And then he gave some words too. I think we have that video.
Hold on. Let me.
I'd like to thank especially Sabrina, Julia, and Nick for countless hours, and the rest of the team at Steptoe. And I would like to thank Steptoe for offering all of their services pro bono.
Feeding me.
Yes. I would like to thank family and friends and strangers for all of their support, whether it was emotional or spiritual or artistic or financial. To the people that opened their hearts and homes to me, I am eternally grateful. And I am so happy that justice prevails in spite of everything happening. And that night, I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants. And let us not forget that the Great Seal of the United States says e pluribus unum. That means from many, one. Every life matters, no matter where you came from, no matter how you got here, no matter how you identify. You have the right to live a life that is free. Thank you.
Sean, what does that have to do with throwing a sandwich?
What does that have to do with throwing a sandwich? Sean Den is dope. We wanted to end on some positive news this Friday. I have to run. I have David Sirota talking about the lessons that Democrats need to learn from Mamdani's win. That'll be up in 2 minutes. I just want to say thank you all to the fantastic donors who gave us the money.
There was a lot today.
This is on YouTube, folks. These are the super chatters who give us tips. We're independent. We just grind and grind and grind. When you're independent, you have to work twice as hard. You have to stretch the dollar to make it 20, but at least we are honest. We have our ethics. We're not bowed out by anyone. We can keep it real. I think you all enjoy it. Thank you for all the people who watched, the nearly 2,000 people on YouTube and Twitter. The nearly, I think we got 1,500. Well, yeah, almost 1,600 on my Substack, several hundred on Danielle's Substack. For those who missed us, this will be up later on our Substacks. Damn Digest, which is Danielle's. It's free. Left Hook, it's free. We're terrible capitalists. Please, at the very least, become a subscriber. If you have a few bucks, go give it to Danielle. She needs her coffee. If you have a little bit of money left over, it's super cheap, $5 a month. I have like a lot of kids and cats. And then also, if you're watching on YouTube, press the like button and subscribe. Get Danielle to 50,000 subscribers. I know it sounds ridiculous, folks. All of this is what helps us. It gets more and more eyeballs, and the algorithms then spit out the video to more and more people. We're going to be back on Monday.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, Danielle's birthday. So
here's my quick announcement. I am better than Waj because I actually take my birthday off. My birthday is on Monday, dear friends. You will have new videos that I am posting, but I will not be live until Tuesday. So Waj will have to do without me on Monday. I appreciate each and every single one of you, but I am taking a solid day off for my birthday.
And so I wanted to sing her happy birthday on Monday, but gotta do it now. I'm gonna do it super Fabi Desi English. A happy birthday to you. A happy birthday to you. A happy birthday. Happy birthday. A happy birthday to you.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Love it so much. You have to do it every year moving forward.
I'll leave it on your voicemail. I do these and my in-law, I make it like as gross as possible, and my in-laws, they all laugh and they're like, so disgusting. Do it again.
Do it again because it was so good.
Thank you all
so very
enjoy
much.
Your birthday. Enjoy
Thank
it.
We will see you next week at our midweek check-in. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Be well.
Bye.